Okay.
Hey friends, welcome back to Thrive Online Healing Podcast. This is episode 102, and we're going to kind of revisit a topic we talked about before, scarcity, but we're going to infuse a little bit. I've learned that scarcity is not just related to money. Usually if we have scarcity around money, we have scarcity around time as well. So that's what we're talking about today.
I think this is a very key topic in these times that we're in right now, especially around money and time. We're seeing things like inflation happening around us, and the reason why I wanted to bring up this topic is because I'm seeing a lot of our small business colleagues, right, who are having to increase their prices of their products, of their meals and things, to maintain the same quality and value, that they started as a small business to make available to people. And, because the costs are changing, I guess, the prices have to change. And so when we're talking about asking that audience and that community, right, that a lot of small business owners have created, to pay more for a product or service or something, it's that fear a little bit as a small business person, right, is you don't want to lose your community. You don't want to lose those folks, and you still want to be providing value to people. But because I think people are experiencing a lot of, that tightness, that scarcity mindset. And I think maybe because we're seeing it kind of all around us in society. So sometimes it's not just our thoughts and beliefs about it, but sort of, that influence that we're seeing all around us on a regular basis is triggering or creating those thoughts of, I can't do the things that I used to be able to do. I can't purchase that food anymore. I can't, XYZ, because of that fear, but because of that mindset of, am I going to have enough, in the future if I choose to, meet these prices and continue to support the small business. So
well, I think first, because we're both business owners, we have to, majority of people are not business owners,
right.
So let's start at the basics.
Okay.
All right, so we have to understand business from a neutral spot. As a I think before I owned a business, I didn't understand how business worked. So we have lots of uninformed opinions about it. Business, right? A person that provides a solution to a problem to the customers, right? It takes money to run a business. Very, very few humans want to run a business that requires money to run it and not make money for themselves. Because they own a business, they have to make a profit to pay for themselves and their salary to put food on their table, right? If you own a business, you don't work for another company that's taking their profit they're making and distributing it out as salaries to people.
Right. Those very distinct differences.
Yes. We as business owners, you're responsible for making your salary. And I think that people get all up in arms when business owners, raise their prices. It's like they think they're price gouging. Some of them do, but guess what? That's their business. They get to decide.
They have that option.
They own their business. They get to make those choices. That is the power of owning a business, is we get choices. you as a consumer get a choice whether you choose to spend your dollar there or not.
Yeah.
Right. But we have to understand it takes money to run businesses. There's always, even with my business that has very low overhead, it still requires money of me to run this business. So a lot of businesses that are product driven, right? Like your brick and mortar stores that are selling products, how capitalism works is when the government makes decisions to put regulations, tariffs on things as well, or tax certain things, right? That then increases that product's cost, because that business is not going to absorb that cost. They're going to increase their prices, passing it on to the next consumer, which then passes it on to the next consumer, right? And ultimately, the consumer that ends up with the final product is paying a portion of what the entities way up above decided, right? So let's just use fuel to get a tangible example, right? The government, the United States government made decisions to shut production down of oil, right? They told all these oil and gas businesses, you cannot produce more, right? In a certain quantity. We had reserves of diesel and gas. So that allowed the price for gas to go down because there was so much in reserve. Well, when the Biden administration shut down production, human behavior did not shut down consumption.
Right.
Because we want what we want it now, but we want it cheap. Right? So we kept consuming at the same rate. We burned through our reserves. And now we're at a place where it's like production meets the demand. So prices, supply and demand, have gone up. Those prices that go up then get passed, right? All these semis that carry your products, all those semis that bring stuff from Amazon to the warehouses. Fuel, diesel currently is like $5 something a gallon, right? Most small businesses can't eat that.
Right.
Go out of business. And then you, as a consumer, don't get the things that you want when you want them, right? So they have to increase their prices to be able to do the same business with you that they have always done and stay in business. Yeah, the price is going to get passed on to the consumer. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I mean, it's logical. And this is what we're seeing in our environment today. But I think that there's still a little bit of a disconnect. Because if people can, I mean, consumers want what they want, right? And so if they can find, what they're looking for cheaper, even if it may be a lesser quality or a lesser value, they're going to go that route, right? And so, but I think it's because they're in that place where like, no, so they're what's the word? They are choosing that lower quality product, right, for the cheaper price versus, oh, okay, so the prices are going up on the better quality products, the values going, is still maintaining what I'm used to. And they're not following that curve, right? Like they're making the choice not to purchase those things, which, makes it a little challenging for small business. But you also have to think like in terms of my small business and like supplements, right? Like I recommend physician grade supplements and they are going up. They have been for a little while, and some of those things people are choosing not to purchase them, and they would rather go, they'd rather go get something cheaper on Amazon, right? Not really understanding that they're not the same quality. So then they're frustrated that they're not getting the results that they had been getting. I was like, oh, because you're not choosing the same product, there's a difference there. So you're, slowing down your healing time because you chose something that's a lesser value, and then continuing to match that price that it's gone up a couple, like a couple of dollars, but to continue to maintain what you're used to and that quality.
Yeah. And I think it's hard for me to not talk like an entrepreneur because I am an entrepreneur now, right?
Yeah.
So my mindset is like, of course, like I can buy pure pineapple juice, concentrate, whatever, right?
Yeah.
for I think it's like $4.29 for my deal. Yeah. Or I can spend $3 for the same size, but I'm paying for a fourth of that water, and now 3/4 of its pineapple juice. I'm actually paying the same thing, but I'm just like have the illusion it's a better deal because I'm getting watered down pineapple juice now.
Exactly.
So from a consumer perspective, it's like, no, that's not a better deal for me. I'm going to give you the extra dollar because that's a better deal for me, because it's actually, I'm not paying for the water that you put in it.
Yeah.
Right.
You want the quality. Yes.
That it's because I make a conscious decision.
Right.
So I think that we'll go back to the scarcity and two things. This is my viewpoint as a coach and coaching humans. Collectively as a world, collectively as a society, we have agreements. We have thoughts that we collectively have decided are true and we agree upon. Okay. These agreements are like, you should go to school. So we all collectively agree upon that. Yes, people should be educated. They should go to school. Okay. We collectively agree and continue to teach scarcity. There is not enough. And this really came out of World War II, is what I've heard. Because there was the illusion of scarcity. Right? Yeah. Like, but really it wasn't true in terms of there was not enough money, not enough food, not enough things. It was a hoarding of money and things by a certain group, creating not enough for the other groups, right? Yes, it did not feel like an illusion for the people that did not have enough, but the reality is like the resources were being controlled by others. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they weren't distributed.
Right.
Amongst all the population.
We're seeing that now, right? Our supply chain is being controlled by certain people, right? It's not that there's not enough.
Yes.
The supply chain is being manipulated.
Yes.
So we have taught and believed in scarcity. There's not enough. There's not enough time. There's not enough money. There's not enough resources. If I take a half of the pie, I only leave half a pie for other people. Right?
Yeah.
And we collectively agree upon this and believe it. Because we believe it, that is then what our brain sees in our reality. It has a confirmation bias.
Yeah.
So when we're functioning and living out of that one, and we also collectively agree upon victim mentality. That we don't have the power. Those people, the rich people, the 1% have the power, right? We don't have the power. We as consumers are the weak, meager beings at the mercy of capitalism and big corporations, right? We don't have power. We don't have say. We don't have control.
Yeah.
We teach that. We've been taught that as children. So of course we perceive our world in a place of there's not enough and I don't have control. And I'm not judging. Like, it's just a state, it's a fact, right? Like, this is what has been taught for years and years. We teach our children that. We don't even realize that it's an optional belief. We think it's reality.
Yeah, it's ingrained in how we function, how we make decisions. Yeah. And what we learn in school. It's kind of like that fabric of that academia. And so, yeah, it doesn't feel like a choice.
No, no. So when we can kind of dig into that and see like, okay, like, and it's interesting because if you look at the public school systems in the United States, they came out of the Industrial Revolution to create industrial workers. Right. The whole point of the education system. We have a new work environment. We need employees. Created education to go educate future employees. So then that like puts people in a conditioned mindset that you have to rely on someone else, a company, to pay you. And when we're in that position, it's hard to be able to make more money. You're kind of like, you're at the mercy of that employer, right? Which feeds the victim mindset, right? And scarcity mindset. Yes. That's what's hard for entrepreneurs when we break out. It's like, it's all on you. You get to make as much money as you want or as little money as you want.
Right.
So when we can understand that how much money we make really is all on us, whether we're an employee within an organization or we're our own business, because you always have choices. That's like where I'm finally leading up to, is we always have choices no matter where we're at. Choices go directly against victim mentality, right? When we say, I don't have enough, I can't, that is flags that I'm in a powerless place.
Right.
When we like, I have a choice, right? I can work for this company 8 to 5 and have a side gig and make more money so I can afford the supplements I want. That's a choice I get.
Right.
Right. Thought, do you have any input? I'll get on my soapbox and like teach forever.
I think that's part of the key, right? Is recognizing you have that choice. I think sometimes people get stuck, and I think this kind of leads into sort of our scarcity of energy as well, right? So some people may say, oh, yes, I can work my 8 to 5 job and have a side gig, but if I don't have, they may, figure out that or make that choice, but not understand if they have the resources as far as like, hey, I have the mental capacity to do that. I have the energy to do that, to make my situation different.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because I think that there's a little bit of, there's a challenge there, right? When you make that choice, instead of just kind of following the crowd, following sort of what the expectation is, right? You get that job, you put money into retirement or 401k or whatever, and you work as long as you can. I think that work ethic and that mindset has changed over the generations, right? We do see people who are not in the same job for 20, 40 years like we used to. There are a lot of businesses who are not there yet, I feel like they don't quite value their employees to promote a positive work environment. But anyway, that's a distraction. But as individuals, right? Yeah. Recognizing that they have that choice, and then taking the leap out of the nest to make that choice, and bring it to fruition, can be challenging, right? Yeah. And sometimes folks will be really excited and motivated at the beginning to try and improve their situation and start something, but sometimes they don't have the stamina to continue to continue in that endeavor so that they can create more for themselves, for their family, for their business.
Yeah. It's funny because the more I coach Carmen, because I'm a kinesthetic learner. So me coaching and teaching is kinesthetically also like ingraining the lessons in my brain. The more I step into who I am as a coach, and I am a tough love coach. Like I love, and because I love, I'm gonna be hard on you. So it's like listening to that scenario is like, great. Yeah, we do hard shit.
Yeah.
Welcome to being a human. Yeah. Right? Like that is like, so when my humans come in, I'm like, I want this. I want to create a business, or I want to go after this dream, and the energy's there, the motivation's there, and they don't get the results instantly. So the motivation starts dropping, then things get a little challenging. It drops some more, right? Like what you're talking about. That's why we have to ground down into our why.
Yeah.
Why am I going and getting this side gig? What is my why? And I have to love my why, because my loving my why is going to help me get through the valleys. Because I promise you, there is always going to be peaks and valleys when we go after things we want in our life. It will not be rainbows and sunshine the whole trip, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, how do I combat that, Kim? You go figure out your why, and then you just go do hard things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That makes sense. Finding your motivation, right? If whoever we are, finding that motivation is kind of that like fountain of youth in a sense, right? Like that continues to renew your passion to do whatever it is you want to do. Yeah. That also continues to feed okay, what is the terminology you just used a minute ago? But I want to say compassion bias, but that's not what you said.
Confirmation bias.
Confirmation bias that feeds into that, right? Like, all right, this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I want. This is my why. This is why I'm motivated. Then you create a different confirmation bias, and you're telling your brain, hey, yeah, this is our mindset. This is our belief system. And then, that helps to grow for somebody and to like open up a whole nother level, if you will, to create that abundance in their life, whatever that may look like.
Yeah. And like, I want to like go back to I'm going to go on your about how some companies don't treat their employees well.
Oh, yeah.
So previous Kim that worked for higher ed, very entitled. Why? Because that's how society had programmed me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you should be happy that I'm an employee of yours and I show up and I go to work, sort of. Right? Like, because that's what I was programmed to believe, right? Like, employers should be happy to have me as an employee, right? And they should take care of me. But being on the flip side as a business owner, it's like, oh, no. There's 7.5 billion people in the world. You don't think I can replace you? Right? So, which is like, people are like, that's fucking harsh. You own your own business. This isn't my baby. I put everything into it. You bet I'm going to hire the best people that are going to take care of my business. And of course, in return, I'm going to take care of them because they're taking care of my business. So when we have this, like, employers aren't taking care of their employees, I'm going to agree with you. There probably are some really shitty business owners. Okay? Mm-hmm. I'm not going to deny that. But we can't control the other humans.
No, yeah.
Right? We can't control those employers. So it's my life. If I'm working for, I guarantee you now, being a business owner, if I went to work for someone else,
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to sit back and complain about them. I'm going to be like, what can I do to create my destiny in this company where I make myself so valuable? They cannot deny wanting to give me a raise. They cannot deny wanting to give me a promotion. They can't help but treat me well because I'm providing so much value for this company.
Right. Yeah.
But we're not taught to think that. We're taught to think,
No, yeah, that's a perfect example.
I work 8 to 5. Why aren't they like giving me presents? Yeah. Minimum. Why would I?
Yeah, that's a perfect example. Yeah. Of seeing that mindset, right? That flip of that switch of, okay, yeah, so I get to choose how I'm going to show up in the world, whether that's in my job, whether that's in my side gig, right? Whether it's in my family or with my family. And that emits or portrays, right? Like my mindset, my belief system of, hey, yeah, I'm going to provide the value in all areas of my life. Yeah. And that, I think, creates that abundance that, I'm doing my part. I'm challenging, myself, instead of being restricted by the job, or being restricted by like this idea of like the what we're supposed to do, or society around us, or how much money we're supposed to make.
Yeah, and it's not like I'm saying this stuff doesn't exist, like oppression and racism and all of this stuff. I'm not saying it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Does it serve you to buy into the rhetoric and believe that you're oppressed? Or does it serve you to decide, like, no, I will not be oppressed. I get what I come for in life.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the I don't know. I think we talk about this often, right? Like that people have that choice, and hopefully, the more that we talk about it, the more folks, if they're not there yet, are able to make that choice and follow through. Of like, hey, I can do something different, in my life, and that includes everything under the sun.
Right. And yes, it's scary. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Your brain is wired to live the same day over and over for 50 years. It wants you to live the same day, doing the same thing. It does not care about your happiness, your fulfillment, reaching your dreams. No, it's wired for survival. And survival says, yesterday, I managed to stay alive. So let's keep doing that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, our brain is wired to be efficient, right? It's going to find the most efficient possible route from A to B. And then it's going to repeat that wherever it can. Yeah.
So like we're talking, circling it back down to the scarcity, around time, money, right? My family had to do that, right? They haul sand and gravel. They drive dump trucks. Fuel is expensive. So guess what? When fuel's expensive, the rock quarries raise their rate of rock, right? Yeah. And so they had to raise the rates, and there is some scarcity, like, well, we're gonna outprice ourselves, right? And here's the deal. It's never about the money.
Yeah.
Humans never purchase. If it was about the money, there is no way humans would be dropping $1,000 and something on a new phone every 2 years.
Yeah.
It's not about the money. It's about the value. They love their new iPhones, and then what the new iPhone provides, the value it provides. So they're going to find a way to get that money to get the iPhone.
Yeah.
When we see, it's never about the money, it's the value. And the customers that see the value will buy it. The customers that see the value in physician grade supplements will continue to buy physician grade supplements. The customers that never saw the value in it, well, they're not going to buy it.
Right.
They're going to get it from Walmart, and they're going to get their results from Walmart's supplements.
Yeah.
Great. Just take responsibility that you have made that decision, and you're going to get the results that product, the value of that product is going to offer to you. It's on you.
Yeah.
Right. So what? We have to like make decisions. We're always making decisions. Inflation. Yeah. Great. There's more money in the economy, basically. Things are going to go up. Right.
Yeah.
But we're always having to make decisions around like, I want this. Yeah. I want a $200,000 car. But I have to make a decision. I don't have enough revenue coming in to pay for a $200,000 car and my mortgage and my food, right? So I make decisions. I don't get that car yet.
Yeah.
I increase my revenue so I can still cover these and get my car.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. I feel like I went off on a lot of tangents. Like, how do you coach around scarcity? Scarcity is just it's an illusion. It's a programmed illusion that exists.
Yeah.
Right. And we can understand that and see like we live in scarcity because we believe in scarcity.
Mm-hmm.
We live in abundance when we believe there is abundance.
Yeah. I want to say something that you're right. We make decisions every day, right? It's whether we make that decision to do the hard stuff or to do the stuff that's gonna help our future, be nice to our future self, help our family, versus you're deciding to do the easy stuff, right? You're deciding to do the automatic stuff, right? The automatic stuff that we've been taught our whole lives, that scarcity. And so this is another example to show folks, hey, you're making those decisions, right? Whether you acknowledge them or not, right? Like you're deciding scarcity if you're not deciding, or if you're not deciding for abundance.
Right.
Yeah. So,
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
Cool.
That's good.
All right, there you go, guys. So box number 1. I want to recommend though, like I have worked through my scarcity with money, which helps me. It just automatically helped work through scarcity with time. I have a couple books to recommend. One book is, let's see, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That is a fantastic book. Have you read it, Carmen?
No.
Yeah, it's so good because he breaks down the programming mentality of poor and middle class and rich.
Yeah.
Like, I know people will shy away from the rich, like, oh, I don't want to be like those rich people. Like, no, it's really interesting to see the difference in how they view the world and how they view assets and liabilities. That's information that we all need to know.
Okay.
So that's a fantastic book. And The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by Harv Eker.
Yes.
Fantastic one too. Yeah. And then A Happy Pocket Full of Money. That one's really good. It's going to get you into some quantum physics stuff though. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
We enjoy quantum physics. We're not scared of that.
That one's so good. Yeah.
I haven't heard of that one. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Thanks.